If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror, we'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface-level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
We're in Way Media.
Welcome to the Life and Times of Captain Barney Miller podcast. I'm your host, Mike White. Joining me, of course, is the rookie, Mr. Chris Dashew.
I prefer to be known by my original stage name, Little Corky Carter.
On this episode, we are talking about 3 episodes of the original Barney Miller. We are heading towards the finish line here with the 8th season. We're talking about the 14th, 15th, and 16th episodes of that season. Talking about Arrival, which aired originally on February 25th, 1982. Obituary, which aired on March 11th, 1982, and Inquiry, whichever one you want to say, which aired on March 26th, 1982. 3 episodes. I think some of them are pretty good. I think maybe some of them aren't as strong as they could be, but Chris, I'm very curious. What did you think of this batch of episodes, sir?
Pretty good. And also now we know Arthur Dietrich, mad pussy fiend. I mean, we already knew that from before, but my God.
Are you talking about Old Love? Did you go ahead? Did you watch past this?
Did I watch the wrong ones?
So that's what I warned you about via Facebook.
Okay, so I fucked up then, huh?
Okay, yeah.
But I don't
I
don't understand something. What did I miss what?
Well, you might have watched Old Love first. Did you see the one where the old flame shows up at the precinct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you did the exact same thing that I did. But did you watch the one where Wojo, the one that with Sal Viscuso? Did you see that one where where Wojo brings in Sal again?
The bald guy, right?
No, I'm talking about like he shoots Sal in the arm.
Yeah, the guy with the fake leg.
No.
Oh my God, what did I watch? Did I even watch Barney Miller?
So you watched 2 episodes in a row that had Marco Ricuzzo, right?
Right.
The guy with the big head and the little
guy
face.
With the weird head, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So you should have only seen him once. So you did bad and you saw him twice, just like the cowboy from Mulholland Drive. So yeah, you did, like I said, you did the exact same thing I did. That's why I was trying to warn you, Chris.
I know.
Tried to warn you.
Boy, I wasn't paying attention, huh?
It's okay. We'll see how far we get through this episode.
So which episode did I watch out of order?
You watch Old Love out of order. So that actually airs after the Inquiry episode. So let's talk about The Arrival, which is about the disgruntled member of Mensa.
Yes.
As well as the titular arrival of the mail order bride of Mr. Luger.
Yeah, that's right. What a weird thing that we finally have to deal with in this show, with Luger having a mail order bride.
Yes, a very nice mail order bride. I think Karina.
Too nice for him.
Yeah, Karina Falblay, I think she's fantastic in this role. I think she's really super cute. And her chemistry with Barney is such that I'm just like, I miss Barney's wife. I really kind of think, I like seeing him like playing with this girl. I thought that was nice, like having her as like his comic foil here. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, tell me more about your thoughts about this episode, Chris.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I think it's weird that again, with Luger being the way that he is with things, it's odd to me because like I know that they brought this up, and I know that this was part of was it this season that they brought up the Luger's getting a wife thing?
Yeah. Yeah, like, just probably about 6-7 episodes ago.
Okay, so it was this season. Like, it's weird that this show is now doing that. I'm not saying it wasn't before, but the show wasn't really like holding itself to certain things before. And this was one of those things. And one of those things being like, oh, we mentioned this thing out of hand and now it's like a big deal and now it's actually going to happen. Like, again, like the show was kind of trending in that direction for a very not long time, but I guess like last season they did it once or twice, but now it's like, here's an entire episode about it. So I enjoyed it. I think, again, like it's weird to have this show holding itself accountable for things that it brought up, but I'm kind of glad that it is because it speaks more to where television is going as a medium versus, I don't know, again, like what this show, I mean, we've had people showing up in this show before that weren't playing the same people, but now we are getting to the point where people are playing the same person in the same episode. So like the show is like slowly melded into what it kind of needs to be as opposed to what it was before, if that makes sense. So I like it, but it is strange to me that I don't know. It's just strange. Like, it's strange that we're actually having an episode about Luger and a, like, Asian mail order bride. Like, it's kind of odd, isn't it? Like, ultimately, it is kind of strange.
It is. It's, well, and especially because, I think they brought it up twice before because it was the idea of the bride and him, Luger asking Barney, or pretty much guilting Barney into writing the ad copy. And then another episode shortly thereafter where Frank was not happy with the quality of the copy and just thought that Barney was making them sound bad.
Barney, write this for me. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
But not like that.
Yeah. But make me sound better than I am. And it's like, oh, good luck. Like,
right. Exactly. Well, and what you're saying about like recurring characters or recurring actors that come back as different characters. I mean, Mario Recuzzo is one of those guys. We've talked about him several times, but now he's in this one as a certain character as Norman DeLuca, and then he's going to be back in that Old Flame episode in 3 episodes. As the same character as Norman DeLuca. And this guy's a total sad sack, but he just wants to be really helpful. He's got this wooden leg. He just goes above and beyond trying to be polite to the point of just being really obsequious. And it's like, dude, just grow a spine, would you?
Yeah, well, and I think what's funny is Mario Recuzzo plays that character so well. Like, and we've seen him on the show before as other characters. And when we cover Night Court, once we're done with this show, he will show up once there. But he's shown up, I mean, a couple times in this show as not as this character. He's shown up in season 5, in season 6, and in season 7. And then this season, we've already seen him once as Ed Brodsky, and now he's playing a character that the next time we see him, it will be the same character, which is kind of sort of odd to me, because that's not a thing that the show did before. When he was showing up before, it was not, seeing you again, Mr. Whomever. It was just like, oh, here's a new guy every time. But I mean, those sad sack characters, it can be a bit much, but I don't know. Mario Recuzzo, he looks the part so well that I just totally buy it. He looks the part. And then the fake leg thing, like, I don't know. He's doing some pretty good physical comedy with the fake leg, I feel like, anyways.
Yeah. And good sound effect when Harris puts his hand on his leg and you hear the knock. I thought that was nice. And yeah, it's interesting because he can play a real scum very easily, and you buy him as that, but then I bought him as this really nice guy as well. I'm just like, that's super impressive. I mean, he's the same guy that was cooking up wasn't he cooking up Freddie Duke in that big pot with
thank you
one
for
of Samantha's aunts in that it wasn't Night Gallery, it
Tales
was,
from the Dark
Tales
Side.
from the Dark Side.
Yeah, cooking up somebody in a pot. Oh, is this wine? And whatever. Like, oh my God, whatever.
Yeah.
I believe him more here than I did in that episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well,
I don't know. He's one of those actors who, like, when you cast him the right way, it really works. They, in this show, know how to use him because he just has a great look to him. Like in that episode of Tales from the Dark Side, I couldn't really buy it. Like, I couldn't buy him as like this like devious cannibal husband. Like, this is much more believable as this like sad sack dude who just kind of is haunting the precinct, kind of making a problem for everybody because he doesn't know how to just get the fuck out of people's way. Like, just get out of people's way, dude. Like, just get out of their way and stay out of their way. And he's like, no, can't do that. And it's like, oh God. Like, Harris gets to the point with him where he's just like, sit down, like, and that might be the next episode. But like, I think again, it just gets more to the point of like, we haven't had characters really like this in the show either that sit in the precinct for the whole episode, which is, again, I kind of like that because you get him interacting with the A plot and the B plot. Cause he even interacts with the woman that Luger ends up having as his, like, I guess she's just going to be his wife.
Yeah.
What is your take on everything with Luger? Because like you asked me, I'm curious. Like this was a thing, right? At the time, like this is a big thing. I mean, people are still doing it now, but at the time, this was like a new thing.
I mean, she wasn't a mail order bride, but I always think of the bride from Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. The one where she's really kind of wild, especially sexually, and she does the whole thing with the ping pong balls and stuff. It's like, we marry, I'm your wife. I'm just like, okay, it's a little extreme there, but this woman is so nice. I'm just like, all right. And yeah, I'm so curious what they're going to do with her, but I don't think they're going to do very much at all because she's just going to come back in Landmark 2 and 3. And that's it. Like, we see her here and we won't see her again. Like, maybe we'll see Luger and he'll come in talking about the old battle axe, those kind of things. But
I don't see that happening.
I don't see it either. I'm very curious what's going to happen.
This is a transformative moment for our friend Mr. Luger.
But it was so strange the way he just kind of like leaves the precinct, and it's like he doesn't want to have anything to do with her at first. It really takes a lot of like, no, you need to talk with her, Frank. Like, let's make this thing happen.
Hemming and hawing.
Yeah.
It's weird because of, again, to your point, in those original episodes when this came up, like, he was really, like, hot to trot. He was pushing hard. Like, this was him. Like, this was his idea.
Exactly.
Yeah, and now it's like, wait a second, Luger. Like, you can't do that. Like, no. Like, come on, bro. Like, that doesn't work here because, like, that, and, like, what's nice is the show holds him accountable through Barney, which is nice. I mean, again, like, that's, I think ultimately, our friend Otto, who wrote the book on the subject, as we like to put it, and literally did, I think one of the things that he would probably agree with me, as I know he sits here in his den and listens to this on his Zune, that one of the most positive things about this show is the portrayal of Barney Miller, the character, as this kind of, I don't know, like, and this is something as we kind of approach the end of this show. I mean, we're going to be talking kind of, I think, broadly a little bit more and more as we get to the end of this, because we only have 2 episodes left past this. Like, and I don't feel the way about any of the characters in this show like I felt about things before, other than like my own personal stuff, because we've spent so much time with these characters. We've spent years covering this show. We've watched the entire run of this show. I know people have watched this entire show, but have you sat down and watched it from start to finish recently? Like, because it takes a while. I mean, I don't know how long it would take to just sit and watch it. But my point being, like, all of that to say, I think the thing that this show benefits from the most is Hal Linden as Barney Miller being this kind of paragon of virtue in the precinct at all times, even to his own detriment. And he upholds the law in a way that, again, you would hope there are people like this out in the real world. You would hope that there are people in positions of power, in positions of authority, that see it as not just an obligation to do the right thing, but it is my duty to do the right thing because that's why I'm here. And you see that in this episode with Luger's wife, and Barney's just like, no, like, you're not doing that. Like, this is not what's happening here. You have made this situation and you are going to see it through and you are going to handle it. And Barney is standing up to the person who used to be his boss. He's not his boss anymore. Right. But like, this is still someone who I would say ostensibly is like a father figure to Barney in the show. And I think it's a pretty big moment where he stands up to him because he doesn't have to. He has no obligation to. There's literally nothing that he has to do in the scene. Because it's technically not even Barney's problem. I mean, this is Luger's kind of personal life intruding into the precinct. And like, again, this is not Barney's duty to help this woman. If anything, it's an obligation that he has to just like be a decent human being. But I think again, like, it's weird to me that the show goes there, but I'm glad that it does because we get to see another moment of Barney kind of standing up to, I would say, the one person that he maybe has needed to stand up to the most, which is Luger. Because it's not that Barney doesn't have a spine, it's that Luger needs to correct the way that he is, which I think has been one of the things we've talked about the entire run of this show, is like Luger as a character changing from this character who was just kind of the worst at the beginning. But now, like, with this episode, like, you genuinely care about him. You care about the woman that like he like mailed away for. You care about like his interactions and his camaraderie and kind of companionship with her. But the camaraderie that he shares with Barney not getting in the way of this. But Barney also knows that like he has to be the one to say something. And I like that about this episode. Again, this episode, for all intents and purposes, is a pretty big payoff for something that we've been seeing build for a while now, which is, Barney's interactions with Luger changing over this kind of the seasons, because initially Luger was his boss, and then Luger went and is now in like PR and like public relations and stuff, right? He's like behind a desk now, so he's not even in the same line as Barney. So it's interesting to see them interacting essentially now just as friends, as opposed to boss and he who is in charge having to be the thing that Barney was navigating. He doesn't have to navigate that anymore. This is more like a fatherly, paternal thing, pushing back on your parents, which, I mean, again, I think is a pretty big deal in media. And in media at this time, that wasn't a thing. Like, we see Wojciehowicz do it later in one of the other episodes that we're going to talk about. We see Wojciehowicz kind of taking Barney to task a little bit. But for Barney to take Luger to task about this thing specifically, I think is a pretty big payoff. And I appreciated that the show writers did a service to the setup, because there could have been a pretty shitty payoff here, and I think they avoided that pretty aptly. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, she's not going to come back though. Like, that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, at least they're not trying to spin it off into a new show or something.
Luger and the Misses.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. and Mrs. Luger.
Right.
I'd watch that show.
Let's go check in on what the Lugers are up to. The Lugers.
Couldn't be any worse than fish.
No, exactly.
Because that was really pissed. Yeah. Don't forget, people, there was one 2, 3 possible spin-off shows that they tried to do with this. They did the Wojo thing. Wasn't there something else that was like a sideways thing with
It was with Fish, and
Right.
one of the first few times we saw Dietrich as Dietrich.
Right, yeah, Fish as Fish in his own show named Fish.
Right.
About what? Fish.
It's where he becomes a fishmonger.
Yeah. Boy, yeah. Wouldn't that would have been better than what we got. Just Abe Vigoda sitting and fishing for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Nothing catching today.
Yeah, just kind of like that John Lurie show where it's just him going out fishing. Yeah, sure, why not?
I mean, at this point, what's the harm? I don't know. Could anything be worse than Wojo's Girl? I don't think so. Wojo's Girl was a special kind of awful. So,
and we should probably mention the C story, which was Vincent Bryson, played by Andrew Block, the guy who comes in and I guess he robs Mensa.
He's part of Mensa.
Yeah, but he doesn't like Mensa because they're a bunch of stuck-up a-holes. Which I will tell you, I'm a member, but I've never gone to any of the meetings. So I don't know. Hopefully when we get to the Goodbye Sky High IQ case that Columbo's going to break, we'll talk more about Mensa because that's very much a Mensa type organization. But the Alan Oppenheimer character, William Dietz, is from something else, and I'm trying to remember.
Beetlejuice.
Thank you. The
Dietz. The Dietzes.
Yeah. So his character and just the way he's just such a prick. I'm just like, okay, I can see why this Vincent Bystrom character does not like the people at Mensa if they're all like this William Dietz guy.
Well, and didn't they insult Barney the moment they walked, or Wojo the moment they walked through the door? Like,
oh yeah,
like thanks, thank you. Like, the fuck is your problem?
And I like how the episode starts with the Rubik's Cube, and that plays into it, and that Bystrom just solves it almost immediately. Like, oh, sorry.
The Alan Oppenheimer character, like, he's one of those, I don't know, he's one of those guys that gets away with being an asshole in the episode. And that's not always a constant in this show, but
right.
In this episode, it is. But he's definitely the asshole who, like, he gets away with it. But he ultimately again, like, the whole Mensa thing, I don't know, the Mensa thing kind of feels unneeded. Like, we've seen this before, right? I don't know. Like, again, I'm not saying Barney Miller's going to the old well, but like, that felt a little old hand for the show with how new hand everything else was with Luger and his mail order bride. Like, everything else felt so new and interesting. And then it's like, but then we have this like thing about Mensa, like some cheap jokes. I get it. The 80s, Mensa's a thing, right? Like, or is that to say Menser?
I think they've been around for a while, but I don't know. I've never
like the popularity of things.
Oh yeah, true.
Like, again, like, things fall in and out of favor. Mensa's been around for much longer, since the 70s, but like, again, like, this show feels like it always tries to like have its finger on the pulse of things, because again, in the late 70s, early 80s, we know that aliens and werewolves and all kinds of weird stuff was in, and we had Kenneth Tygard doing that how many times in this show? Like 3 times, 2 times. So the Mensa thing, I was just like, oh, this feels very of the times. Like, we've had the Agent
100%.
Orange stuff. Like, again, in one of the episodes we're going to talk about, we have a police brutality thing, kind of, sort of. I mean, again, as much as the show wants to wade into it, but it feels very of the times. I just don't know. I don't know. The mail order bride stuff is just of the times as much as I would think. So like, I'm more interested in that, less the Mensa being ransacked by a Mensa member.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does feel. I mean, it feels very similar to the one we just had a few weeks ago, where the guy was breaking into the warehouse to steal all of his own equipment back, that because he couldn't pay the taxes.
And then we're gonna have to hold on to it again because it's evidence guy.
Right, that guy.
Yeah, it felt very similar. I'm with you.
Yeah. Well, let's move on over to Obituary, which has the storyline of a man's obituary being printed in the paper, and this young whippersnapper reporter refusing to take it out of the paper, issue a retraction, anything like that. The young whippersnapper being played by Will Seltzer, who I mostly know from More American Graffiti, but he's been in a ton of stuff. And The person who he wrote the obituary about is Wendell R. Bergendahl, played by Barney Martin, who most people will know him as Seinfeld's dad on Seinfeld.
Yeah.
But my God, I mean, the guy had such a huge career and just was in so many different things over the years. But he played Seinfeld's dad perfectly. So
this is the weakest episode of the 3, right?
I would think so. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty just like, okay, we've seen this before kind of stuff.
No, and like what's kind of a shame is the episode has some familiar faces. The Peggy Pope is back once again for like the 13th time or whatever it is. At this point, I mean, I'll tell you at this point, like even when it hasn't been her, I've thought it was her. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how many times I feel like Peggy Pope has been on Barney Miller. Is that like every time we've seen someone who kind of looks like her, I think it's her, even though it probably has only been her half of the time. She was in 6 episodes of the show. Okay. Twice in season 3, once in season 5, once in season 6, once in season 7, and once in season 8. So it hasn't even been that much, but for whatever reason, it feels like she's been in the show way more because we've seen the kinds of characters that she plays a lot. It's just she hasn't been the one to play them. But It kind of feels like a shame that she's in this episode because the storyline between her and Barney Martin is kind of weird and oddly touching. The other story is like we've kind of seen this other thing, that the reporter thing. We've seen this before. Like we've seen that before. But the other thing is like kind of oddly touching. I don't know, like where they get to at the end of it, where it's like, well, I'll be out later. Like, okay, like. Because I'm not, in fact, your dead husband.
Right. Yes.
Which
the
is
husband
so
that went missing,
weird.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Wyoming?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like, that's the thing I don't understand. Like what? So the guy writes an obituary, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the guy who's in prison, and the woman, but not the guy who's in prison. The guy is then picked up because he has the name of the guy who's in the obituary, and they call the woman down there because she saw the obituary as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Because the guy who was reported as being dead is like, you need to put in a retraction. He won't put in a retraction. They get in an altercation. That's why he's down in the cage. And the other guy is there by Harris's desk trying to file the complaint. And luckily, he's there for Wojo's latest crusade, which is all of the chickens and other food that are in warehouses everywhere, which is funny because talk about the 80s. I mean, the whole idea of government cheese, that was huge. In a
van down by the river.
Well, just the idea of like, oh, you're so poor that you get cheese from the government.
Food stamp king and queen.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Like total like social shaming kind of thing. Like, oh, you probably shop at Kmart. And I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I do. You're right. Hey, man, I go to Goodwill for my clothing, and it's not because I'm poor. It's because Goodwill's got some banging deals. And who doesn't like to buy other people's shit? Like,
well, I mean, it was quite a traumatizing thing when I was in 7th grade. But by the time I was in 10th grade, it was like, okay, yeah, like, or even when you're in elementary school, the whole government cheese thing was like such a they're so poor they need food. Yeah.
How dare they want to eat?
The shaming was not good. But yeah, I know. And it's kind of nice. Like, speaking of Peggy Pope, it's a little bit of a 9 to 5 reunion because Richard Stahl, who plays the government a-hole guy, but he was in 9 to 5 as well as Peggy Pope. And he plays this government person. He's been in so many things and he just plays that same type of, like, at first when I saw him, I thought he was the psychiatrist from Terminator, who we've also seen in this show.
Right.
But no, he's a totally different bald character actor. Also, Chris, he was in Under the Rainbow.
Oh, one of my favorite things we've watched all year.
I know. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right up there with Spies Like Us. Yeah.
Right up there with Deal of the Century.
Oh,
a movie that I'm not even sure you could convince me is different from Spies Like Us. You showed me scenes from that movie, both of those movies just intermixed. I would probably only know which is which because Dan Aykroyd's not in one of them.
Right. Not mugging as much.
God, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the description of the episode on IMDb for this one is just terrible because they talk about how they arrest a chicken thief, and I'm like, chicken thief,
What
like thinking
chicken
about,
thief?
yeah, no, it's like it's meat basically. It is poultry that he's stealing, but I would think a poultry thief would make more sense.
Yeah, I don't know that whole like, oh, he just happened to be there when the other guy came in with Wojo's like lead. Like I don't like that because like this show has never gone to that, like has never gone there before. Like not like to this extent where it's like, and now I'm put like, I don't know. I didn't care enough about the Will Seltzer character to care. Does that make sense?
Well, he's kind of a little prick.
Yeah, like also that, like, yeah, he looks like typical 80s like prick, like prick journalist. Like in another movie, or a TV show, he's getting murdered for following too close to the lead. Like,
oh yeah, exactly,
exactly. Like,
you kind of, or he's restoring artwork in a museum, and the artwork happens to be possessed by the spirit of Vigo.
Yeah,
I mean, he looks very
Peter McNichol.
Very Peter McNichol.
But I love Peter McNichol. Peter McNichol has like one of the great movie freakouts of all time in Bean. I mean, I love Peter McNichol. I mean, Peter McNichol is one of the reasons Ghostbusters 2 is such a fun movie.
Well, Peter McNichol, I mean, I grew up watching him fighting dragons. He's awesome at that.
The fuck?
In Dragon Slayer.
Never seen it.
Oh, you got to check that out sometime.
I wish it was Peter McNichol in this episode.
Yeah.
Not that I would think it would have worked any better or any worse. Like, I think this is one of those episodes where the A plot and the B plot intermixing the way that they do does not work. Because I guess the A, the B, and the C plot technically all intermix with each other, making kind of like a nothing at all plot, which doesn't really work for me.
Yeah. I forgot that Will Seltzer was the guy who created the nuclear bomb in that episode back in season 4.
Oh, wow. Good God. What a
back when,
many moons ago.
It was on Nick's desk when it was Nick's desk.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Many moons ago, as they would say.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many years ago that was in the run of this show. Like, season 4 was 4 years ago. No, I guess, yeah. It would have been like
Yeah, they kind of go in order. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. God.
Yeah.
Jack Sue was still alive, everybody.
Exactly.
When did the show reach like its final form? Was it season 6? Season 6, right? Or like season 5? No, season 5.
I think it was season 5 when Dietrich came aboard, and
Jack soothed everybody away, right?
Yeah. And
so 5, 6, 7, 8, we got 4 seasons. Half of the show has kind of been half of the show has been kind of the best version of the show.
I think this season and last season shared the same opening credits. I don't know if the season prior had the same like Levitt Dietrich combo towards the end. I don't know if that was still like when they added in, I guess there was Dietrich, Levitt, and Luger were all in the opening credits. And Luger hasn't been in the opening credits for at least 2 seasons now.
That's right. Man, we've been covering the show for a while.
Yeah.
It's been a part of our lives. Like seeing Barney, a positive male role model on television, I cannot think is a bad thing for anybody growing up at the time watching this show. Because I think this show is for adults, but I also think this show, you could have watched it with your family, right? Like, I don't think the show is excluding anyone in terms of the subject material. I think the show's comedy sometimes maybe is on a spectrum in terms of who it's going to get a laugh from, because there are some episodes of the show that we've laughed out loud at. A lot of them have just been like a snigger or two or a chortle, but like not laugh out loud laughter.
Right.
But I think that this show, is overall a good, a positive thing in terms of the representation of the police and the representation of a mixed workplace as well. You know, the only thing that would have made it better is if a female character had stuck around. Really, like, that's the thing that the show is ultimately missing. Like, go after me as a wokester, whatever the fuck horseshit term idiots use. But, like, this show would have benefited from a woman police officer. Maybe even, and like this, you know what? This is how I would have done the show if it had been me. Levitt would have been a female character.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right? And like, because Levitt
Well-
already has like a sense of like, there's like the way Carl Levitt plays, the way Ron Carey plays Carl Levitt is kind of like the housekeeper of the 12th precinct, at least for them. Like he shows up, he gets them stuff. Like he's always like, I don't know. There's something that's a little less masculine about his character than everybody else. And maybe it's the uniform of it all. He's the one in uniform and they're the ones out of uniform. Right. So I mean, again, like their uniforms are suits and ties, and his uniform's a suit and tie, but he always looks a little bit more, again, like there's something about him. He's diminutive. He's smaller than them. Like he's very clear. I'm not saying like, again, like if you had a female character in this show, it would have been the Levitt character. You could swap that in rather easily, and a lot of the lines would still work. Like most of the comedy would still work. Levitt doesn't have a family. Like could have had just
find that out.
Yeah, you could have just had a career police officer woman. Like, you know what I mean? Like I again, like that's the one thing the show is missing. But this show, I think, for the most part, does a very good job at being a positive representation of police in the media. But I think positive male role models in the media at the time. And look, there are other shows on at the time like this one, but I don't know. This show never deviates into like weird like areas that make me kind of like feel icky about the characters. Like the characters, there's only been a handful of times where I'm like, eh. But I think, again, like I also chalk that up to sometimes the writers who are writing this show aren't consistent. But I think overall, the show has been very consistent in the way it portrays the male characters, especially Barney and Wojciehowicz. And Ron Glass as well. Like the three of them, like they are the most consistent. Like everybody else kind of showed up later, but those three are kind of like the pillars that have held this show up the whole time. And I think they're all very positive representations of what they're trying to represent.
I guess too, we find out that Barney is a Pisces. If that's to be believed by when this episode comes out, because it is Barney's birthday.
That's right.
They really go all out with these presents, I tell you. And Levitt with that little cupcake with one solitary candle.
Don't you love it, though? At least he tried.
He did try.
Yeah. I love Levitt. I love Steve Landisberg so much. What a good addition to this show. Seriously. It's a shame we did this show when we did, because so many of the people in this show have like long since passed away.
Oh, yeah.
There was a time where they probably would have talked to us willingly and would have been happy to talk to us about it. I mean, their kids talked to Otto for his book. So if you want to read more about what the people were like, go pick Otto's book up. But it's a shame 100%. Because too many of the people on this show have passed away. And I'm not just talking about the main cast members, but like pretty much everybody from this show is like in their 60s, 70s, and or passed away. So
this is coming up with Inquiry. It is another episode that is just stacked with very familiar faces and faces that we've seen before on the show. Alan Rich in here. He starts off the episode. You got Barry Gordon, who also we talked about on the Fish Show. Go back a few
Barthold
episodes
again, showing up with the exact same hair as before. Did this guy's hair ever change as an actor? Did he always look the same? My God, I know his hairline couldn't change, but like he always looks the same. Like every time we've seen him.
Well, and then speaking of hairline, Michael Lombard, famous bald guy actor who just, he's so good.
Famous bald guy actor, also a famous asshole bald guy actor. Because I think this is the second or third time we've seen him in the show just playing like an unrepentant asshole. Right?
So
I think it was or was he in something
well.
else that we saw? Like I know he's been in other things that we've talked about.
He's been in so many things. Yeah.
Right.
Like you look at his picture on IMDb and you're just like, oh, I know this guy. Like I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, and not small stuff either. Like, he's in Rounders, Thomas Crown Affair, like, Pet Cemetery, but yeah.
He was in 3 episodes of this, 3 episodes prior. This is his last episode. But yeah, he just bald, the most bald stereotypical guy possible. There you go. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. He's amazing. And I love the relationship that he has with his wife. It's pretty hot.
She's the one who wears the pants in the relationship.
Yes, definitely. Salvi Scuso, who we've talked about many times. Otto generously hooked me up with Sal so that we could talk about the Taking Pelham 1, 2, 3. Sal is a fucking trip, man. He is great. And another reason to pick up that book of Otto's, because what he brings to the party is pretty fantastic. But yeah, he's barely in here. He barely gets any lines. He's the guy that Wojo shoots, and it's like, okay, like I would like some more from him, but he's so drunk through most of the episode that he doesn't even realize that he's been shot or who shot him.
Did you do this to me?
Right at the very end. Yeah.
Like, we literally get like a freeze frame of like, did you shoot me? Like, oh my God, dude, you've been in this room the whole fucking time. Like, yeah.
But he's fantastic as he's strung out, just like the bags under his eyes and the pale face.
They make him look very strung out. He looks like he could be an extra in Return of the Living Dead.
Oh yeah.
That's how like fucking wild his makeup is. I think they make him look a little too strung out, maybe. Like, it looks kind of unreal. He looked like you've always talked about, like, you don't like things where people are pretending to be drunk. Like, they probably went a little too far in making him look strung out, because he looks more dead than strung out. Like, it's a bit much. But we finally get a cops dealing with cops things episode for the first time in quite some time. Which I find interesting, because this show is kind of, it's not that it's strayed away from it. It's had on a very special episode of Barney Miller from time to time. I wouldn't say this is one of those episodes, but it could be kind of classified that way, given the conversation that, again, our kind of 4 or 5 leads have with Wojo at the end. Like, again, doing your duty as a police officer means sometimes having to just like do the thing. And sometimes the thing is the least palatable thing that you have to do. But like, that's their job. That's their obligation and duty. And again, part of what is expected. And I like how he's like, I'm the one that answered the phone. Any one of y'all could have answered the phone. It's like, yeah, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Like, that is literally just the way it is.
And he's pretty unrepentant. He's just like, oh yeah, I shot this guy. I needed to. Basically, I was like, all right. And yeah, Barry Gordon coming in as basically the good IA person, and then Joe Mantell coming in as Raymond Waymond, who does not hesitate to tell you what his full name is. I was really surprised that it wasn't the guy from IA coming in here and just being a complete prick. Not that I mind. I don't mind not seeing Scanlon, but I'm just surprised that it was David Fingler and Raymond Waymond coming in here.
I'm disappointed it wasn't Scanlon. I am thoroughly disappointed. I mean, because Scanlon is such an asshole. Like,
he is, yeah.
He's such a fucking asshole. And like, the last time we saw him was like the peak of his assholery. So I would have liked for it to have been Scanlon, but I understand why it wasn't, for logical reasons. But at the same time, why? He's in internal affairs. Like, I don't get why he's not, unless it's because of what happened in the last time we saw him. Which, okay, fine. Like, if you're gonna do that, have somebody say that. Like, that's a easy enough throwaway line. Like, oh, where's Scanlon? Oh, he, whatever. Like, he passed this one on to us. Like, you can say that, show. Like, you have the permission to say that. Like,
right, exactly.
I don't know what they did. Yeah, Zach. I mean, how many times did they do it with Barbara Barry's character? Like, all the time, like, constantly. Exactly. Like, you're telling me that this show is above doing throwaway lines for characters? Come on. We literally just addressed the possibility of them doing that with Luger's wife. Like, that is just like, she's not on screen and he's referring to her. Like, that's called economics, like being economical. You don't have to trot people in and out for characters in the show to reference them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Barbara Barry, and the kids, they bring up the kids and they bring up Barbara Barry.
Plenty.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they don't.
How are they doing? Like,
yeah, exactly. How are the little ones? Not so little anymore. Love it. So yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck? Like, yeah, it's I don't know. It's odd, but I do think that, again, this is a missed opportunity for Scanlon. But again, he does come back before the end of the season. I'm pretty sure he comes back in the Landmark 2 and 3. So
oh yeah, well that's when his wife's in there. So
yeah, well, and also I'm assuming Scanlon comes back at some point in one of those episodes. So.
I would think so, but now I'm curious. So.
Yeah, George Murdoch is, I don't know. I feel like George Murdoch has been a periphery player here, but it is missed. He is missed in this episode, rather. Like, I don't understand why you don't take advantage of the easy layup. If you're not going to have him, at least have somebody reference, because he's been the internal affairs guy this whole time. Like, and he's been going after them for nothing this whole time, and now he has something to be there for, and he's not. Like,
exactly.
Come on, show. Like, don't Don't try to put one over on me like that.
Well, and it's amazing that it's so immediate, because usually with things like this, it's like 2 or 3 episodes later, it's like, oh, here comes Scanlon to talk about like Wojo's pants problem, that he's shooting blanks. It's like that was many episodes ago by the time Scanlon shows up. And it's like, no, I heard about that complaint from this late. It's like, oh, okay, So it's weird that it's right now, right here at this particular time, that like Sal is in the precinct, in the cage, and these guys are there at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, a little bit of convenience, a little bit of convenient timing with the show, which is fine. The show doesn't do that very often. It's just doing it now.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, I really like this, and I know I probably shouldn't like it as much, but I like the storyline that we mentioned briefly with Bonnie Bartlett as Emily Loftus and Michael Lombard as Joseph Loftus, and having, I think it's really what does it for me. So they're a couple who are trying to get their very rich couple, and they're trying to get their kid into an exclusive, sounds like daycare, but it's like not even elementary school, not even kindergarten. They're just trying to get this kid in a daycare type of thing or preschool. And no, he's not good enough, not smart enough, whatever it is. And being told that by Norman Barthold as Gordon Wendell, and Norman Barthold is another guy who plays an obsequious asshole like nobody's business. He's just got that kind of, the guy that played Higgins from Magnum PI, like he's kind of got that look to him, and he just can play that so well, that like droll, how
Snooty
dare you,
shithead.
so snooty, like, yeah, just amazing.
And his hairline. He literally looks like, to me, a Rankin and Bass character come to life with that hairline and like his kind of like somewhat exaggerated features, but not really. Like he just looks, I don't know. They always cast him perfectly in this show because he has such a, he's got that look. Like he's got that look. He's just got that look about him. And so they lean into it with this show. Again, the show knows how to make the most out of the people that are coming in to be the character actors in these situational comedies, like especially this show. Like they know how to cast people that look the part of the fat mailman in Stuart Pankin's, case, or the woman, the distressed woman in Peggy Pope's case, or the bald asshole in, Michael Loftus. Michael Lombard's case. Like all of these people, like well cast. Even in this episode where I feel like the kind of Alan Rich storyline kind of gets lost in the mix. Ultimately, it does. It totally does. Like, I'm disappointed that it does. Because, again, you have a great-looking character actor who I would describe as, like, human amphibian. Like, kind of like frog-like. And he's great, too. Like, he just has a great look to him. And wearing that fucking bucket hat makes him look like he's going fishing constantly.
Yes.
But he's great. He's great, too.
This is the 5th and last time that Barthold is on this show. He came in while they were watching the dirty movie that Harris had made. He also came in and was the guy who was in charge of the Muzak company. Remember when the guy was going crazy about the Muzak and the subliminal messages? And he was the guy who was denying it faintly, so he plays those characters so well.
No, he really does. And for me, I think the thing that makes him such a good actor is his ability to, again, like playing the part is one thing, looking the part is another, and like those two things kind of intermingle when you have a great character actor like him in this show. Because again, he looks the part, he plays the part, it's like he's barely trying. I mean, I know he's trying, but you know what I mean? Like, he makes it look effortless. And that hairline, I swear, I keep going back to that hairline. That just, like, great hairline, and his just such a dick. Such a perfect, snooty dick. Like, again, another one of those actors who I feel like we've seen him a bunch of times in this show, but it's probably only been, like, 4. So, but again, this show has had that kind of character over and over again. And every time they cast them, they always cast them pitch perfect. The casting on this show has always been so good. I don't think we've acknowledged it plenty by essentially highlighting the fact that this is a character actor show in a lot of ways, but to mention the fact that they always cast the right people too. Like, even if people come back, like Kenneth Tygar played the same character twice, but did similar things 3 times and was perfect every time. Like, again, kudos to the people casting this show. Because there's a huge pool of character actors in Hollywood at the time. Not every single one of them. There have been people we've been shocked to learn aren't in this show.
Right.
You know? Like, we're running out of time for anybody to surprise us at this point. But like, again, like this show has also been perfectly cast from the main people down. For the most part, everybody, I mean, like, again, like the Michael Lombard just alone in this episode, like perfect bald dickhead. But then he has this like weird submissive side that comes out and you're just like, okay, this is super believable. Like, all right.
What did we find out that's called? A FLS? Female
led FLR, female led relationship.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with FLIR, the thing that they use to like look at like night vision footage of Bigfoot.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Easily mistakable. So
at least for me anyway.
Yeah, to your point, there's only 6 more episodes of this show to go. There's
fucking wild.
Yeah, there's one more where we're going to finally talk about Old Love, the episode that we both watched.
Which I think may end up being one of the best episodes of this show.
It might be.
Which is like the really fucked part of this is, like Old Love is like an oddly like kind of great episode. So I'm excited to talk about it. But
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. We've also got, and that's directed by Hal Linden. Then we've got Altercation, and then we will finish up with Bones, which was directed by Max Gale. And you will be very happy about this because while we've been having this conversation tonight, I have been texting with Max Gale.
No, you have not.
I have.
Oh my God.
So I'll just go ahead and Mr. Gale, Otto Bruno gave me your number with your permission. I do a podcast about Barney Miller and was hoping to get you on the show before we wrap. We have 2 more episodes to go. Could we find some time in early January for a phone or Zoom interview? Just wrote back yes with an exclamation mark. I said, fantastic. Should I throw out some dates and times or wait until later in December to lock that down with you? And he just responded 2 minutes ago. No harm in getting started. So when we wrap up this recording, Chris and I will be talking about when we can talk with Max Gale, because that's going to be a 2-person interview because we have to both be on the phone to talk with Max.
There's no way.
We've been talking about him for all this time now. I am super stoked that we will finally get the Woj on the show.
Chris is because this is an audio medium, you can't see it. Chris is somewhat crying. So there you go. If we got to talk to Hal Linden as well, that would be amazing. I know we've tried, and like, dear listener, we have tried. Like, Otto got to speak with him, so we know that there is a way to talk with him. But Hal Linden is also still working, just like Max Gale is, which, by the way, like, they're not young guns anymore. They still got it, but they're not young guns anymore, which is like, again, like, I'm impressed because in the industry that they work in, like, people want you out the door once you hit a certain age, and like, they're still doing it, which is beyond impressive. So I'm excited. I'm beyond it. I can't even wait. Like, I can't even believe it. Good on you. Good. And thank you, Otto Bruno, for being our friend and going out on a limb for us, because, this industry that we work in and doing podcasts, like, so much of what we do really is just based on the kindness of each other to like help each other out and like put out, because this is our own putting out of a shingle here thing. Like, and I wouldn't be nearly where I am without you, Mike, as kind of a mentor and a creative partner. And this show, like, Otto's book has been immensely helpful to us.
God, yes.
Otto's book has been indispensable. We bring it up on like every episode. And he has also been indispensable in hooking you up with people to interview and now hooking us up to interview Max Gale. So yeah, this has been it takes a village sometimes, and like this show has been a labor of love because we have been doing it now for like 4 years. This is the longest thing we've ever done together, like as a combined creative endeavor. And I'm so excited that we get to bring an interview with Max Gale to everyone who's been with us from the start, because I know that there have been people who've been listening to this show since we started it, and there have been people that have found it along the way, and hopefully you'll stick around when we talk about Night Court. And if you don't, we understand, but we would hope that we've done enough here to convince you to join us for a show that I don't think either one of us have as much of a history with. If I have never even seen a episode. I had never seen a episode of Barney Miller either, but it felt like the logical step in the legal system. We had the investigative journalist, then we had the cop, now we have the judge.
We're doing our own version of Law and Order here.
Yeah. We're circling. And whatever the show after Night Court is going to have to be like a prison show. So
yes. Oh, Oz. There we go.
Oh God.
I hear that's a real happy-go-lucky kind of show.
Isn't that about the Wizard of Oz?
I believe it is.
Yeah. There's a Tin Man. There's a Scarecrow. Boy, God.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons does the Scarecrow, I think.
God. Yeah, well, I don't know if we're committing to watching that yet. I know it's good, but I also, this show hasn't had enough of, people in prison for my taste. I don't know if I really just want to throw ourselves into the deep end of like the most notorious prison show kind of all of them. So, but that's super exciting. And I'm super excited, but it is wild that we're in the next episode's the penultimate episode of this show. So
yeah. Well, before we head on out, I want to thank John Walker for our theme song, and I want to thank my co-host here, Chris Dashew. Chris, what are you up to these days, sir?
Working on audio stuff over at weirdingwaymedia.com, where this show and so many other shows can be found. Like we mentioned, we used to do a Kolchak show. We did an entire run of that and the remake, much to the chagrin of the people who liked the original show. And then that show ended, and that's where this show came out of, is kind of our just next logical progression of the Kolchak show. And so if you're hearing this now and you haven't listened to anything else before, go on back to the Kolchak show, listen to that, then start with this, listen to all that. And by the time you make it to this point, if you did that, you will have listened to a lot.
Yes.
But you will be knocking at the door of us talking about Night Court, which will be starting here the moment this is done. We'll probably, again, we clearly have a little bit of wrapping up to do, Max Gale interview being one of those things, but we have ostensibly 3 episodes left of this show. So if you want to hear that and this and everything else, weirdingwaymedia.com is where you can go. What about you, Mike?
Same thing, weirdingwaymedia.com for all episodes of the other stuff that I work on, like the projection booth, or Chris and I work on midnight viewing along with our friend Father Malone. So yeah, there's a lot of entertainment out there. And then occasionally Chris lets me come on the Culture Cast and pick movies or just talk about other things. So I'm still super happy about the whole series of Francis Weber films that we did for Mike White May it was this year, and those really opened my eyes to so many things. I've actually been going out and watching a lot of French comedies apart from those 4 or 5 films I think we talked about, plus all the remakes. So that was like a 10, 11 film commitment, but it was so worth it.
Bringing in the work for everybody involved. Oh, yeah. I don't mind it. I always, doing the work is 3/4 of the fun. There's so much work that goes into making 1 hour of content. Like, I wish I could describe to anyone listening, but like, if you think we just watch these things once, we don't. If we were able to have conversations this good off of watching things just once, we'd be really good at our jobs, and we would have no ceiling on what we do, but that's not the case. So yeah, when we were watching 10 movies in a month, that was that was like the old days back in like 10 years ago type shit.
Oh, yeah, that was something. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Please come on back and listen to us again next month, where hopefully we will have Mr. Gale on the show, and it will be wrapping up this whole endeavor. Thank you everybody for all of the hours that you've put into us. I've definitely had a lot of fun. And yeah, in that last episode, I think we're going to be wrapping up with a couple other special guest co-hosts. So should be a lot of fun here in the next few months. So thanks again, and stay safe and keep it legal, folks.
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.